if you're feeling lost in your life right now or just confused about what you're supposed to be doing, and like you've had this big awakening to a feeling. It really is like a feeling inside, an awakening to an awareness of this other world, this other place where joy, abundance, peace, unity, prosperity, all of these things exist in this other world, and you've just woken up to its existence. So now your life seems to be in resistance to that new world, and you have no idea how to go from the life that you're currently living, where you may have lack, you may have paranoid thoughts, you may have depression, all of these sorts of things in this old life. You have no clue how to go from where you're at right now to this new vibration, this new awareness, this new place that you've just awoken up to the existence of. I want to share a story with you of what I went through in 2020 that may help you see that you are not doing anything wrong. There is a path you're following. There is somewhere that your heart is guiding you to. You're not lost. And I really would love to share this story with you to get you to see the bigger picture, okay? So back in 2020, I was working as a cart girl on a golf course. And all of a sudden, the books by Dolores Cannon came across my path. And so as I was driving around the golf course the summer of 2020, I was listening to Dolores Cannon, just in awe of what this woman was saying to me in these audiobooks. And through listening to her audiobooks, I was awakened to this whole other world I didn't even know existed. And as I awoke to this world that I didn't even know existed, I was shown the areas of my life that were not in alignment to this new world that I was seeing, that I was feeling. Not only was I reading about it in her books, but I could feel it. It felt like a place that existed, but the only place that I felt it was in my heart. I just knew that it was real. I just knew. And I felt crazy. I'm sure my husband thought I was crazy because I was having all these realizations and I was telling him all about it. And I'm sure he thought I was going insane. But I knew that it was true. And I knew the feeling, the place that I could feel in my heart was real. But now I was also being shown all of the ways in which my life was not in alignment to this new world. And I slowly had to change the ways in which I was being in the world. I had to reorient my thoughts. I had to reorient my beliefs to point me down the path to this new world, to be in alignment with this new world. But I had no clue what it was physically going to look like. I just had to start taking small steps every single day. So I stopped drinking. I went through a drastic change in my diet. I went full vegan, like overnight. I don't recommend that. I think that was a lesson for me to learn balance. But I did. I went full vegan overnight. I stopped drinking coffee. I stopped watching TV. I just did all of these drastic changes to orient me towards that new world I knew existed. And so I started living as if this world already existed. I stopped doing what was out of alignment. And this was incredibly painful because as I was reorienting and pulling myself out of this old way of being and pointing myself towards the new direction of where my heart was leading me, I didn't know what it was going to look like. It was painful because all of the limiting beliefs started coming up. All of the emotions that I had been suppressing started coming up after years of numbing and binge drinking and being just after years of pain and numbing the pain. Everything started coming up, all of it. And I felt overwhelmed. And I was also making all of these huge external life changes. And I felt like I was going crazy. I felt like I was never going to be okay again. I thought I was just going to be depressed and insane and bursting into tears every 2 seconds for the rest of my life. But I trusted that feeling in my heart, and I fearlessly walked down this path to wherever the hell I was heading. And I also, during this time, decided that I wasn't physically healthy, like my body wasn't healthy. And so I started getting really into fitness, and I started working out again. And then I decided, oh, I want to be a personal trainer. Like, I'm really into movement. I would love to share movement with others and teach other people how to be in their bodies. And so then I got my personal training certificate. And while I was getting my personal training certificate, I was still the cart girl on the golf course, while simultaneously I started working in the office at the local gym in my area. So I was working 2 jobs at once. And then once I got my personal training certificate, then I technically started working a 3rd job. And so then I started training people, and I was training like 2 or 3 people at first. And I was working 3 jobs. And for 3 months, this was like 6 months after my initial awakening, I went through all of the crazy emotions and the reorienting and trying to figure out what habits fit into this new world and what habits didn't fit into this world. That took about 6 months. And then after 6 months, I decided I wanted to be a personal trainer. So then I started taking small steps towards becoming a personal trainer. And before I knew it, I was working 3 jobs, one of them being a personal trainer. And once I got enough clients to pay my bills, because through this spiritual awakening, we still need to take care of our 3D reality, I was able to quit as the cart girl and start going full-time as a personal trainer and working in the office. And then eventually I got enough clients that I could even quit working in the office. And I was just a full-time personal trainer working for myself in this new reality where I was in charge of my schedule. I was in charge of who I worked with and when I worked with them. And so I was my boss, and this had been something I had been dreaming of since I woke up to this new reality, really since far before that. I've always wanted to have my freedom. And so before I knew it, in the matter of probably, if I'm being real, it probably took about 1.5 years after my spiritual awakening to be full-time working for myself. But that was because I was following my heart, following the guidance, all of the little steps, all of the changes in behavior, all of the changes in habits, all of the thoughts that were coming up that I was redirecting myself away from, all of the emotions that needed to come up and be purged so that I could step into the confidence of even taking someone else's health and fitness into my hands and being held responsible for all of this. It was a whole new level of responsibility stepping into this world. So I had to purge all of these beliefs about myself so that I could create a sense of self-worth around this responsibility. So every little step, every emotion you purge, every thought you redirect, every external habit that you change, it's all directing you towards the life that you want. It's just that we have linear time. So in the moment that you had the spiritual awakening and realized this whole other world existed, you already lived there. If we were able to collapse time and space, you were already there. But because we live within linear time, you have to use your linear time to take small steps towards that world that you already live in your heart. But now you're anchoring it into physicality. And every step isn't going to feel like it's doing what you... Not every step is going to feel to the ego like it's getting you there, because it can seem painful at times. But every single step, no matter how big or how small you think it is, if you feel it in your heart that it's pointing you to that new world, it is. Even if it doesn't logically feel like it is, it is. So keep going. Keep taking the small steps. And before you know it, you're going to be in a whole new reality. It just all physically has to come together through your actions and intentions first. You can't just sit back and wait for everything to happen for you. You have to play in physicality. You have to get your hands dirty and do the work to get there. But it exists. It's waiting for you to do the work, to make it, to birth it into reality.